Welcome in, Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Happy to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will look back at the winners and the losers for your Seattle Seahawks in the 2023 draft. And I have a couple surprises for you as well. So we'll go over all of that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are growing very fast as of late here on Seahawks Today. And we are quickly approaching 37,500 subscribers. Just the other day, we were talking about reaching 37K. We did it for Sean Alexander. Now we're already getting very close to 37,500 subscribers. So we need your help to get there. About 81 more is what we're looking at. So if you want daily news and rumors segments, if you're looking for coverage counting down to the start of the season through minicamp and OTAs and training camp, preseason, our live shows on Wednesdays, this is the channel for you, for the diehard Seahawk fans. Subscribe for free today. What are you waiting for? Subscribe right now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV, and you'll be glad you did. The first winner of the draft for me is Geno Smith. For a few reasons with Geno Smith. You could argue he was the biggest winner of the draft for the Seahawks. And think about this, okay? The Seahawks, number one, did not draft a quarterback. And there was a lot of rumblings about Seattle looking to add a quarterback to eventually be the replacement for Geno Smith, a quarterback of the future of sorts. They did not do that. So that was a win for Geno in itself to have job security. And then the weapons that they put around Geno Smith in this draft of getting Jackson Smith-Njigba with that number 20 pick, with adding Zach Charbonnet in the second round as well. They loaded up, and this offense is going to be dynamic. It is going to be lethal in 2023, and it is going to be dependent on Geno Smith to drive that ship and be the catalyst for this offense. So, Geno, big winner. He didn't have his replacement show up, and he got some help around him. I'm excited for Geno Smith. And not to mention, a couple months ago, he got paid. So things are pretty good for Geno Smith these days. He's a big winner after this draft and really one of the biggest winners of this offseason. Who was the biggest winner of the draft for the Seahawks? Tell me what you think. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break, if so take advantage of it while the ad's playing. Get your votes in and tell me what you think. Who was the biggest winner? Tell me in the comment section below who the biggest winner for you was, and let me know. Next up on the winners list. Now, this might be a bit of a surprise. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker III at running back for Seattle. And I know what some of you may be saying to yourselves. Wait a second here. Didn't the Seahawks draft Zach Charbonnet and Kenny McIntosh, two running backs into the fold? Why would Kenneth Walker be a winner? Hear me out on this, okay? Let's take this one step at a time. Let me explain why Kenneth Walker is actually a winner in this draft. In today's NFL, you have to have multiple running backs. And you look at this Seahawks offense and what Shane Waldron and Pete Carroll want to do. They want to establish the run. They want to run the football to open up the play-action passing game. And so with that being said, with Kenneth Walker, you know that you're going to get a lot of touches, that it is going to be a demanding workload for Kenneth Walker. And so for me, what I'm looking at with Kenneth Walker is that he needs a guy like Charbonnet or like Kenny McIntosh to kind of relieve the load a bit of some sorts, to keep him fresh so he's not worn out, so he doesn't get hurt as much. I mean, we saw last year when he was the number 2 back behind Rashad Penny and eventually became the number 1 after Penny went down. He suffered some injuries himself last year. And so, I mean, everybody needs a running mate. Everybody needs a partner of some sorts. You know, my producer, Rolly, who's working with me today, always likes to refer to Batman and Robin, you know, and in this case, Kenneth Walker III, you know, he can be a Batman, but he still needs a Robin, and maybe even take it a step further. Maybe he just needs the Avengers as a whole when it comes to this running back room. When you add in, you know, Nick Ballore at fullback too, you know, it's better to have more. So I'm happy for Kenneth Walker III that he has other options. He's not carrying the weight of himself completely. Let's go to the loser list. Tre Brown when he came out of Oklahoma in the 4th round a couple of years ago, a lot of people were optimistic. Thought it was a good value find. And then when he started a couple games there his rookie season, he looked fine. Things looked optimistic. And the injury happened, and he did not play a whole lot last year. Got kind of passed up on the depth chart. Things weren't so great for Tre Brown on that front. And so it was already disappointing as is. And then the rookies last year, Tariq Woolen obviously was phenomenal. Kobe Bryant had a solid rookie season. And now you add in Devin Witherspoon. And the depth chart just keeps getting further and further away from Tre Brown. I actually think Tre Brown's still a decent player. When he's healthy out there, I think Tre Brown's fine. But the Seahawks, no offense to Tre Brown at all, but they just have better options at corner now than Tre Brown. So it sucks for Tre Brown, but it's a good problem to have if you're Seattle. So I feel for Tre Brown. Mike Jackson, kind of similar thing to Tre Brown in this regard. Mike Jackson, a veteran, broke through, not only made the 53-man roster and everything last year, but earned a starting job. And just like that, in the snap of a finger, he's about to lose his job, more than likely, to Devin Witherspoon. And things were just starting to work out. I know Mike Jackson has been a journeyman playing for several different teams of sorts, but all of a sudden, he's looking at, being pushed to the back burner. We saw with Sidney Jones last year that he kind of went MIA and got forgotten about with when the other guys developed. And for Mike Jackson, that actually might be the case too. So Mike Jackson, I like Mike Jackson too. I thought he was fine last year, especially considering he wasn't getting paid that much. But again, like we said about with the Tre Brown thing, Seattle's got better, younger options than Mike Jackson, it seems. Who was the biggest loser of the draft for the Seattle Seahawks? Who was it? If you had to name the biggest loser, besides whatever show is on NBC now, called, is The Biggest Loser still on? It might be. I don't know. Who was the biggest loser for the Seahawks? Let us know in the comments section who you think that was. Another winner, Noah Fant. And really, Noah Fant is kind of representative here with Will Dissly. I think you could say both these guys belong in the same camp here. Noah Fant, I didn't think lived up to expectations, to the hype in 2022 of what he was expected to be. I think all of us were hoping he would take that next step up and become one of the upper tier tight ends of the NFL, and he just didn't really do that last year. He was good, but he wasn't great. Same with Will Dissly. Good tight end, not great. And, you add in Colby Parkinson to the mix, and the Seahawks have a good tight end room, but no elite tight end. And so Noah Fant this draft, they didn't find his replacement of sorts. They didn't, and it was a good year for tight ends with Kincaid and Mayer and Washington. They didn't take any of those guys. So Noah Fant and Will Dissly both get to, hold on to their spots to the depth chart. They don't have to be looking over their shoulder here. Things actually worked out for both those guys pretty decent as far as that goes. So Noah Fant, Will Dissly as well, winners in this draft. A loser in this draft for Seattle was Darrell Taylor. And here's why. You talk about the looking over the shoulder thing. And all of a sudden now, with the Derek Halls, the Boye Maffes of the world, they got some young players that are going to be fighting, that are going to be pushing for playing time. And Darrell Taylor's kind of sitting there. We're all still waiting for Darrell Taylor to take kind of that next step, right? If he doesn't take that next step, then one of these other young cats, they are going to take that next step, and Darrell Taylor might be looking for somewhere else to play next season. So Darrell Taylor, a lot of pressure on him to perform because of the other guys. They're going to have opportunities to step up. I think Uchenna Nwosu is very solid on that other side, but Darrell Taylor, there's some question marks about if he's going to lose some playing time, lose some snaps to some of these other young cats. A winner in this, Devin Bush for Seattle. Look, the Seahawks ignored that inside linebacker spot in this draft, pretty much. And that was a little surprising, actually, that Seattle didn't really do anything there. And I understand that you look at the situation they're in. You paid, a decent chunk of change to Bobby Wagner. You brought in Devin Bush as well. We're still waiting on Jordan Brooks' status of when necessarily he's going to come back. And so with the circumstance that Seattle is in right now with Jordan Brooks and his injury situation and not investing in young talent at the inside linebacker position in this draft, Devin Bush knows as long as he stays healthy going into 2023, he is going to have significant playing time and a big opportunity to prove himself. Because Devin Bush had a really good rookie year, his first year in Pittsburgh, and it's been downhill ever since. And now he's got a real chance to bounce back. I don't know if he stays in Seattle forever or if this is a chance to prove himself to go make some money elsewhere after this season. Whatever it may be, it's a golden opportunity ahead for Devin Bush in 2023. A loser in this, Dee Eskridge. Man, Dee Eskridge, this is a guy, folks, that has had plenty of chances, right? The Seahawks, Pete Carroll, Shane Wolder and company, wanted nothing more the last year or so than for Dee Eskridge to stay healthy and step into that role as the bona fide number 3 receiver. You know what? It didn't happen. Even when Dee Eskridge has been healthy, hasn't played that great. And now with Jackson Smith and Jigba there, I mean, the time's come and gone for Dee Eskridge. Now, maybe he can still find his way, whether it's special teams or maybe he can, develop into a number 4 type, but it's established. It's 1, 2, 3. It's that group of DK, Tyler, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, and everyone else after that. Dee Eskridge, a big loser when it came to the pick of Jackson Smith and Jigba, because it showed that the Seahawks are saying, look, D, we tried. You had plenty of chances. And some of it was bad luck. But we got a guy that we can't say no to, and that is our future. JSN is the future of the Seahawks receiving corps. So, sorry, D, but that's the reality here. What Seahawks player has the most approved this season? Very curious what you think. Is it Jordan Brooks, who we talked about? Didn't make the loser list, but coming off the injury, got his 5th-year option decline. Is it Devin Bush? Is it Dee Eskridge? Is it one of those corners we talked about? Tell me what you think in the comment section. What player has the most approved this season? Let us know in the comment section below. Last winner for you. I'm going to go with John Schneider, the Seahawks general manager. And this one, I told you I had a few surprises cooked up. John Schneider, before last season's draft, there was some doubters. Like, is John Schneider really that guy? The Seahawks haven't had some great drafts. What's his future hold? What does Pete Carroll's future hold? And now, fast forward to 2023, and John Schneider's had back-to-back out-of-the-park home run drafts where he's done a great job and made some incredible decisions. They were right about the quarterback position the entire time. They found good players. They've done a good job deep in these drafts as well. Finding good day 3 guys. John Schneider is doing a really good job, and he is a big-time winner for the Seahawks here. Last loser. Now, I know I said earlier that it was a relief for Kenneth Walker to get help in that running back room. It's kind of the opposite for DeeJay Dallas, because before the draft, he was your number 2 running back, and it looked like a great opportunity for DeeJay Dallas to have an impact on this offense. Now you bring in Zach Charbonnet, you bring in Kenny McIntosh, and McIntosh kind of does what DeeJay Dallas does. He's a third down back, a very good pass catcher. DeeJay Dallas is going to have to compete very hard for playing time to even make the roster at this point because of what you're investing in these younger running backs. So DeeJay Dallas, I like DeeJay Dallas. Nothing against him at all, but he's got his work cut out for him ahead with the investments that Seattle has made in that running back room elsewhere. So before we go, who was your favorite Seahawks draft pick in 2023? Whether it was somebody we talked about on today's show or somebody else, let me know who your favorite pick was for the Seahawks. Hit me up on social media, the Twitter, also Instagram and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Seattle Seahawks. And I will see you next time right here on your favorite show, Seahawks Today. Thanks for joining us.